Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you've decided to join me today. So today we're going to talk about the power of hypergamy, how to always choose yourself. My name is Rachel-Yvonne and I am the Biblical Femininity Expert. So let's get into today's video. The first thing I want you to know is what hypergamy is. Hypergamy is just a fancy word for marrying and dating up. All it means is that as women, we tend to marry and prefer to date those men who either elevate us financially and socioeconomically. So this can be via class or status or anything like that. How you choose to do that is absolutely up to you. But I want to let you know that this is the natural way that we were born to be. You'll find that most women, even in the animal kingdom, we see that female animals always go for the strongest, the fittest, and the one who has the best survival tactics in order to mate with. And therefore, this is just the way God has created things. And honestly, this is probably the most natural way for us to be as women. And what's interesting about hypergamy is that men and women both marry up in different ways. So women, we tend to marry up in terms of financial status and social status. And men, they will be marrying up in terms of looks, attributes, and things like that. So we tend to balance each other out, and it makes complete sense. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why upgrading your relationships can absolutely transform and change your life. The first reason is knowing and establishing your own self-worth and your value. You've got to know that you were born to be a queen, that God created you in his image, you look like him, you sound like him. I've said this over and over again, but I never want you to forget just how valuable and royal you truly are. As a queen, you must know your own worth. That cannot be told to you by any man or anybody else. That is between you and God. When you read the Bible, you see scriptures and you create affirmations based on those scriptures, you're able to live out your life exactly the way that he intended and he planned for you to do. Identify your unique qualities. What are your traits, your attributes, your skill sets? Kind of like a job resume or CV, but more for life. What are the things that you bring as a woman to every relationship you're a part? And remember, this isn't for a man to see. This is for you to know and how you can grow in those areas and enhance the things that you're exceptionally great at. Now, you might feel like you might not have anything to add. Maybe you don't have a degree. Maybe you've been divorced. Maybe there's different things that happen in your life. But I want you to know that your life experience has taught you so many things. So write down all the big things that happened in your life, as well as your day-to-day activities, and you'll begin to see a pattern as to your skill set, your attributes, and your qualities as an amazing woman. Regularly affirm through self-talk and other self-care practices exactly who you are. God has already described you as being wonderfully and fearfully made, as being a prize, as being a gem whose cost cannot even be counted. And you must affirm these things and say these things over yourself, as well as do other self-care practices, like having high standards for your maintenance. Being a high maintenance girl is just who you are, and never ever settle for anything less. Now, here's one thing that a lot of you don't do. Identify what you need and what you desire in a relationship. How will you know if your purpose partner, if your husband, the man of your dreams, shows up if you don't even know what those dreams are? You need to be crystal clear on what those attributes are, what are those qualities, what are the traits of that kind of man, so you know what he looks like when he arrives. Understand what actions and behaviors make you feel loved, cherished, and adored. That way, when he shows up, you'll be able to instantly recognize him. Set high standards for your relationships. But first of all, this starts with having high standards for yourself. What type of woman are you? And what are the things that you're willing to move on? What are your core values? What are your beliefs? What are the things that you would never ever change your mind on? And why? Have those things ready to be able to know about yourself. Clearly identify your boundaries and your standards. And don't be moved on them. If you're someone who can be easily moved, the Bible talks about it like this: do not be swayed by every wind of doctrine. What are your boundaries? Refuse to tolerate disrespectful or toxic behavior. People often make the excuse that in hypergamous marriages or relationships that you have to put up with a level of toxicity or abuse. I've come to smash that lie in the face. You do not have to put up with toxic behavior or anything negative that you don't want in your life. It is your choice, and always choose yourself. Learn how to communicate effectively and assertively what your standards are and your expectations are to your potential partner. You need to learn how to say it in such a way that will inspire him. Say it in a feminine way. If you've read Get Into I Do by Dr. Pat Allen, you'll know in her book she says to use feeling statements. So I feel like, and let him have space to respond. And finally, evaluate and upgrade your relationships. Take an audit of your relationships and see where you're at. Are they fulfilling you? Are they inspiring you? Are they what you thought they would be? And give yourself room to maneuver. Because nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. Jesus is the only one who's perfect, and none of us are perfect. Evaluate and upgrade your relationships. Be aware of when you feel dissatisfaction or when things aren't going the way that you would like them to go, and learn how to express that. How's he going to know if you just allow yourself to be downtrodden and to be walked all over if you do not share when you are dissatisfied? You can also learn when it's a good time to upgrade, amend, or end relationships. Everything isn't for you, and you've got to learn this for yourself. By following these guidelines, you can see how great your life could really become. I know the sky's the limit and nothing is impossible for every single one of you. And if you'd like to join any of my programs, you'll see the link to do that down below.